You know, we spend so much time obsessing over our bodies. But what if I told you that your body isn't really about how it looks today? What if it's actually a story, a survival story, written by every single one of your ancestors who faced impossible odds and somehow won? We're going to decode that story together.
I mean, think about it. Right now, society has so many opinions, right? You're too skinny, and someone tells you to eat a burger. Or maybe you have a slow metabolism and just can't seem to lose weight. We're constantly judging our bodies by today's standards.
But then there's evolution. And evolution, well, it's telling a totally different story, a much deeper one. It looks at your body and it doesn't see a problem at all. It sees a brilliant, hard-won solution to a life-or-death challenge your ancestors overcame. So that really brings us to the core question of this whole thing. What is your body's hidden superpower? Because believe it or not, every single body type has one, and it's written directly into your DNA.
All right, so first up, we're going to dive into what I call the specialists. These are body types that evolved to be highly specialized tools, designed to conquer very specific, very intense environmental threats.
Okay, let's meet our first one, the endurance survivor. You might know this build as an ectomorph. You know the type, naturally lean with long limbs. This body wasn't designed for brute strength. It was designed for one incredible purpose, to simply outlast everything and everyone else.
And this quote, man, it just nails it. The ability to keep going when every other body type stopped. This was never about being the strongest person in the room. It was about being the most relentless.
Now this is where it gets really fascinating. Look at this contrast. Today, having a crazy fast metabolism where you struggle to gain weight, that can feel like a real challenge. But 50,000 years ago on the African grasslands, that was a legit superpower. Your lean frame has more skin surface area compared to its size, so it acts like a high-performance radiator, just constantly shedding heat, while bigger, more muscular builds would overheat and literally collapse.
So how did they use this superpower? With something called persistence hunting. And trust me, it's as brutal as it sounds. You don't try to outrun the animal, you just outlast it. You just keep walking, jogging, tracking it for hours and hours under a blistering sun until the animal, which can't sweat like you can, literally dies from heat exhaustion. That lean, heat-shedding body was the perfect weapon for the job. So the big takeaway here is that what seems like a struggle to bulk up today was once the key to life-saving, unstoppable endurance.
Okay, now let's do a complete 180 and look at the polar opposite, the famine survivor. This is the endomorph body type, often softer, rounder, and where our modern society might, see a problem, biology sees an absolute miracle of survival.
I absolutely love this reframing. Your metabolism isn't slow. It's genius. It was perfectly engineered for a world where the next meal was never, ever a guarantee. Your body is just incredibly good at extracting every last bit of energy from food and storing it, just in case.
And this just lays it all out, doesn't it? In our world, with grocery stores on every corner, that super efficient storage system can lead to weight gain. But in an ancient world of brutal feast or famine cycles, it meant you were the one who survived the winter while others starved. In fact, there's a specific gene variant common among Samoan people today that is thought to have helped their ancestors survive long, treacherous ocean voyages where food was incredibly scarce. So the lesson? Your body's ability to store energy isn't some kind of flaw. It is a powerful legacy of resilience.
So there you have it, two specialists solving two completely different but equally deadly problems. One is basically a furnace built to shed heat. The other is a fortress built to store every last calorie. Both are absolute masterclasses in survival.
Right, but what about the problems you can't outrun or outstarve? What about the ones you have to fight? For that, evolution came up with the power hunter, the mesomorph. This is that naturally athletic, muscular build. It was the answer for when you needed explosive, overwhelming force, right now.
And yeah, for good reason. It's often called evolution's genetic lottery winner. This body type really did come with some serious advantages right out of the box. So what's the secret sauce here? Well, mesomorphs are packed with what we call fast-twitch muscle fibers, the kind you need for explosive movements. Their genes literally make their muscles incredibly responsive to training. Today, that means you might look fantastic after just a few weeks in the gym, but ancestrally, it meant you were the one who could take down dangerous prey, defend the tribe from a predator, and have the raw strength to build shelters. The trade-off was high protein needs and generating a lot of heat, but the payoff in pure power was huge.
So the insight here is that what we call good genetics was really evolution's answer for immediate, high-stakes physical threats. Okay, so that covers the specialists, the bodies built for extreme specific threats. But now let's talk about the environmentalists. These are body types that weren't just shaped by one threat, but by the very nature of the place they lived.
Meet the efficient survivor. These are typically smaller frames, and the evolutionary advantage here isn't power or endurance. The name of the game is optimization. It's all about getting the absolute most out of the absolute least.
Now, it's super important to get this straight. This is not about weakness. It is about brilliant, brilliant efficiency. If you live somewhere with scarce food, like a dense rainforest or a remote island, or in a place with less oxygen, like high in the mountains, needing fewer calories and less oxygen to survive wasn't just helpful, it was the ultimate survival trait. It allowed entire populations to thrive where larger, more resource-hungry bodies simply couldn't. The lesson is that in the game of survival, being efficient can be just as powerful as brute strength.
And then, on the complete opposite end of that spectrum, you get the cold climate giant. This is a large frame body built for one primary reason: to survive when the cold itself was the thing trying to kill you every single day. And this really just comes down to basic physics. A larger body has less skin surface area relative to its total volume, which just means it loses heat much, much more slowly. Think of it like this. A big baked potato stays hot way longer than a small one, right? Same idea. In Ice Age Europe or the Arctic, this was absolutely necessary for survival. This build could hold on to warmth, support the sheer muscle needed to hunt a woolly mammoth, and just dominate a frozen landscape. So the big idea here is that your frame isn't just about size. It's a piece of biological technology designed to conquer the planet's most brutal cold.
So once again, we see these two brilliant but totally opposite solutions to environmental problems. One body maximizes its efficiency to survive on less, the other maximizes its size to survive the lethal cold. The environment always dictates the design.
But what happens when the environment itself is just chaotic, unpredictable? Well, that brings us to our final archetype, the ultimate survivor, the generalist or the hybrid build. And its superpower isn't specialization, it's radical adaptability. Let's just play this out as a story. Okay, imagine a sudden drought hits. The power hunter, with its massive energy needs, is in big trouble. Then, a new, powerful predator shows up. The super lean endurance survivor just doesn't have the strength to fight it off. And then the climate shifts dramatically. Suddenly, the hyper-specialized heat and cold bodies just can't cope. But the hybrid? The generalist? It's not the absolute best at any one of those things, but it's good enough at all of them. It can build some muscle, it can lean out if it needs to, it can handle some endurance, and it has decent strength. It adapts. And in a world of constant, unpredictable change, versatility beats specialization almost every time.
So, we end up right back where we started, but hopefully with a totally new way of looking at things. Whether you're built for endurance, for storage, for power, for efficiency, or for the cold, your body is not a modern-day problem that needs to be fixed. It's an ancient solution. It's the story of how your ancestors won. So now, knowing its incredible history, how are you going to see its future?